So now that I gave you guys that motivation and everything like that, I know I only have about 5 minutes. Ooh, all right. So let's see here. I will kind of, it's a fun little thing, so it's worth it, right? It's enough to, it's fun to trick you guys. That's the point I'm trying to get at. So there's actually two main visualizations that were really, I want to kind of hone in on you guys. And maybe we'll save the activity then like for tomorrow. I know not everyone can make tomorrow, but how does that sound if we save the activity for tomorrow? Okay, cool. All right. And if you can't make tomorrow, I will still like release the activity for everyone and like pair, like it's going to be a group activity. So I'm going to pair between 2 to 3 people in your group. And the whole goal for that will basically be so you guys can work together to do a very basic exploration. Okay. So main things that I want to talk about is that like there are 2 types of visualizations: exploratory, which is you're doing it for yourself. So in this case, we're doing exploratory visualizations where we just want to get insights for ourselves. These are the visualizations that are quick and dirty and you don't really care if they're really polished or if they have pretty colors and all that stuff. You just are trying to get information for yourself as a data scientist. The important part is that you don't have to be perfect. This is where like, has anyone had like a math teacher, like maybe back in high school, that said like, label your axes? Like I was like, always label your axes. Has anyone had that math teacher? Yeah, I had the same math teacher for 3 years in high school. One of my favorite teachers for 3 different classes, but like that was her favorite thing. It's like, you know, label your axes. Actually, her favorite thing was fractions are our friends. She had like a plaque for it and everything like that. But anyway, the main thing is that like when you're doing this exploratory, you can break these rules. You don't have to label axes. You don't have to make it perfect. The important part is for you to gain enough information to understand what's going on. So the main things you're looking for: patterns and relationships. You're using it to connect to questions. You're asking questions and you're using exploratory visualizations to answer some of those questions or your suspicions. For example, if you have a data source Rex or something like that. Okay. Well, any questions on what exploratory is? Some pretty explanatory, right? Self-explanatory. All right. So explanatory visualizations. This is kind of like doing it for other people. So this is like, you know, for other data scientists or for a stakeholder who we say like non-technical, maybe someone who is not familiar with data science itself, and you're giving results to them to emphasize your message. So this is a really important part, is that your explanatory visualization does not have to be 100% all the data, right? The important part is like you're doing the visualization to emphasize your points and your messages. You are building the narrative to make sure it's understandable. We'll talk about next time, it's like you have to be also very careful about saying the wrong narrative and tricking yourself or other people. But the important part is that you're trying to basically summarize information visually to someone else. Think pie charts can be really useful for people understanding it. There's a whole bunch of other parts I'll say why you should use pie charts. But anyway, the important part, they should be insightful, they should be accurate and visually appealing. And this accurate part I will emphasize is that accurate does not necessarily mean like all the data. Accurate means that it is emphasizing the truth about the data that will be relevant to your stakeholders. So what I mean by that is that if you put too much information or too much, I'll say like junk in your visualization, which is technically accurate, like this is all the points, it might not be telling the full story. For example, if like, let's say someone lies on a survey and they say they're 180 years old, right? And you have like something like ages and like, I don't know, like how many times they click something, right? And you see this weird point that's 180, like way off to the side or whatever, right? Like if you put that your stakeholder, that is accurate. By taking it out, you're actually making it less accurate, but it doesn't actually convey the real message that you want to emphasize to your stakeholder. So this is where it's perfectly fine to leave parts out or emphasize parts like, okay, this is what I really want you to care about. So again, those are things to like highlight that insight. You're basically telling a story here. You're trying to say like why you're showing this visualization to someone. And then simplify. You don't have to include it all. You can simplify it down to make it a little bit like digestible. Okay, so I got a little time. Yeah, they can wait for a minute. So just wanted to use them. So this is actually kind of a useful way to kind of think about this, but the 5 steps of data analysis are: you extract it, right? So you're obtaining the data from the spreadsheet, you're cleaning it, you're exploring it. So explore like visualizations, right? You analyze it, you're taking parts of saying, okay, now I'm doing either exploratory or explanatory visuals, and then you want to share it. So this is where like, you know, when you're actually conveying your results, this would be explanatory visualizations. Okay. So this is kind of like helps you a little bit breakdown of like when you should care about your visualizations being nice and neat or explanatory and stuff like this. Okay. Let's see here. I did put a little bit of practice here for data visualization. So there's already some inside the curriculum. There's some already in the Python Data Science Handbook. Do you guys remember? I mentioned that last time. Python Data Science Handbook, great book, free online. Of course, you can support Jake Vanderklas, right? I think he's doing all right. But you can definitely check this out. Kaggle.com/learn has a whole like little like notebook series of like data visualization as well, which can be really useful. The more you know, just the better it's used. More you can do and stuff like this. Just know for quiz time, I would basically just ask you questions like, when do you use plots? Is it explanatory or exploratory, right? So you can probably think of like all these parts. I won't go over them, but you can think of like in what cases would you use explanatory versus using exploratory? Okay. All right. So next time we will go over some other parts of visualization, like what makes a good visualization, do's and don'ts, why pie charts are evil. And we'll also introduce the activity last time. I joke about pie charts being evil. They really are though. Okay. All right. So I will see you all hopefully tomorrow then.